Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this experiment where we go live right after the show. It's something I wanted to try. I didn't give myself enough of a buffer. I apologize for being a few minutes late. It's so nice to see so many of you joining me so late. This is a special night. I'm trying something new. So the stream is open. The chat is open to everyone who's a subscriber. So as soon as you hit subscriber, you're in the chat. Thank you to everybody who's being so generous. Wiki Nomad, Danny, Lucas, thank you for gifting memberships. And we have a lot to discuss. It ended up being both a very interesting, but yet in some ways also boring show. And we're going to talk about that. I loaded up a bunch of graphics so we can have a great time. Yes, I'm wearing my gold shirt. I'm ready to talk about the awards. All right, so I think it's interesting. I think like the awards, wow, we see, thank you, wow. I feel like the awards for film came into focus and yet also are now wide open. I mean, it was just really, I think that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, as I said, was at the same time both predictable and wildly unpredictable, which really I think gave us a lot of whiplash watching the show. But I don't think the hosting turned out so great. I have everything in order in the way I want to discuss it. All right, so the most important thing is the Golden Globes is under new ownership, as many of you might be aware. It's now, the television show is now produced by the same company that's behind the trades, The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, and Variety, PMC, Penske Media. And so they have to be happy with the fact that they were able to trend number one, despite a pretty major football game going on at the same time. So that's pretty nice. I think it oftentimes seemed like the people who were working on the show tech-wise had never done an awards show or television before. So I think there's a learning curve, but I think that from a trending perspective, they should be thrilled. That's the name of the game these days, and they did it. Thank you, Not Modern Art. I saw you gifted some memberships as well. You guys are very generous. I really appreciate it. I'm going to focus on cooking, and then I'll answer your questions towards the end. All right? So, next comment. So, The Brutalist. The Brutalist was the... I didn't think this was what I had loaded up next. But anyway, so what were the big winners? The Brutalist. Earlier today on Movie Math, I had asked, why is A24 waiting to roll out this movie? They must be waiting to see if it does really well this evening, and then everybody will want to see the movie that won all those awards. Well, it worked! That plan only works if the movie wins a bunch of awards, and it did. It won Best Actor in a Drama. It won Best Director. For Brady Corbet, and he had thank you, J-Lo, and he had a wonderful moment with his daughter. This is his daughter, who he said looked really beautiful in her dress, and he felt it was, worth this whole journey they'd gone on. This was truly a labor of love for him. So Brady Corbet, who I'd said when I reviewed this movie, was this movie's best shot at a win, but it won 3, and then it also won, I don't know why I have this in twice, sorry. Let me see if I can fix it. 1 second. See? The Golden Globes didn't give me enough time. There we go. Sorry, hold music. Dum da dum dum da dum da dum. Okay. So I gotta cycle through these again. So there we go. It looks a lot like the best director picture. But there's his daughter. He let her actually hold the, like I was just making fun of the Globes for having tech issues. But I'm one person. All right, so anyway, he let his daughter hold it, which I think is adorable, although I'm sure all the adults, Guy Pearce is like, I ain't never gonna hold an award. So anyway, they won. So that's 3 awards for The Brutalist. Best Drama Motion Picture, Best Director, Best Actor in a Drama. That's major awards. And Brady Corbet had a pretty nice speech about how you should trust the creative choices and instincts of your talent. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. The Brutalist is probably not going to make any money. And so, if it didn't win awards, it would be the exact horrible situation that he described. So, it's a real gamble. I'm sure the producers of the other films that lost are like, that's how we feel right now, Brady. Maybe we shouldn't have trusted the creative instincts of our people. But I think The Brutalist is a great movie, and I'm glad to see it finally getting some attention. It was kind of like being ignored, which I felt bad about, so I'm glad that it's getting attention. Then, Emilia Perez, to the surprise of no one, won Best Comedy Musical because, of course, the Golden Globes had it at the top. It had the most nominations of any film. So, it's not a surprise that it was a big winner. I'm very happy Selena Gomez is finally getting some awards love, even if it's like adjacent. At least she's up there. Really, this actress, this trans actress, did not win herself, so she had the moment to say what she wanted to say anyway. And she made I think this movie's really going for representing the trans community. That's their calling card. That's what they're about. And, that's a lot what the previous U.S. election that we just had was a lot about. And so it is a divisive film, and it'd be interesting to see if other award ceremonies like it as much as the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has liked it. But yes, it not only won Best Comedy Musical, but it beat Zoe Saldana beat Ariana Grande for Best Supporting Actress. And I had a controversial tweet where I said, I'm very happy for Zoe Saldana. It's been a long time coming. She's been working in the industry for quite some time and not really gotten any recognition herself, despite being in some of the most successful films of all time. But I have to say, I think that Ariana Grande had a better performance. I think Ariana Grande, I think some people, it's tough to comment on these things. Everybody wants to not only see the roles and the actors that they like better, but I think representation is a big factor, and you don't want to take away from that, obviously. But Ariana Grande was a fantastic comedic force of nature in Wicked, and I think largely carried that film. So I think that, I'm surprised that Ariana Grande was even in supporting. And the other sad thing is that if Ariana Grande couldn't win a Golden Globe, she's not going to win anything. I think it's very unlikely. I think that as I saw some other people tweeting, Zoe Saldana she's going to win them all. This is it. This is the beginning of her road to Oscar. Just like Kieran Culkin, they're going to pick up, and I forgot to load his picture in here. They're going to win every single award, the two of them probably. And I feel bad for Ariana Grande because she just was so great. So, Wicked. This was what's really shocking. I said, is Wicked the new Barbie? I feared that it would be. I'd hoped that maybe because it seemed to have a little bit more. I mean, I don't know. I think Barbie was getting some respect as well until award season hit. And then it was just a downward hill from there. And it's the same thing with Wicked, unfortunately. I think that at this point, after Wicked got totally shut out this evening, except for box office achievement, which is what Barbie won, Barbie also managed to get Best Original Song, but Wicked, the first part, doesn't have any original songs. They're all from the Broadway show. It's the exact same thing. I'm down to people being dismissive on the movie on social media, like trying to rewrite history. I saw it with Barbie. People would be like, Barbie wasn't all that. Oh, your love affair, take off the rose-colored glasses, Barbie's a loser film and you just liked it because you were a fan. And it was a horrible thing to have to go through. And now Wicked is having the exact same situation. I was like, poor Wicked. And people in the comments were like, Wicked was garbage. Finally everybody knows it. And you're like, what? It's a great movie. I mean, I think it deserves box office achievement, even though it isn't the highest grossing, because it created an event. It was selling out. People were going multiple times. I think that that's a big aspect of, how you don't always give it to the biggest, highest grossing film. I think that like Barbie, even more than Barbie, Wicked really was a phenomenon in the theatrical space and something special. So I think it's I wish they would explain their reasoning a little bit. I didn't appreciate that Vin Diesel was disappointed in this win. I was like, what the hell, Vin Diesel? We'll talk about him calling out Dwayne Johnson, but it's like, hey Vin, did you think about the fact that not a single person in Hollywood would go up there with you to present? I mean, let's think about the choices we're making in life here. And then I'm like, maybe people are too hard on Vin. And then he said, and then he was all disappointed, noticeably disappointed on camera when Wicked won. And I was like, F you, Vin Diesel. The Rock is right. All right. But so then here's Barbie, just to remind you. There's poor Barbie. That's the last Barbie-themed dress that Margot Robbie wore. They broke her spirit at the Golden Globes last year, winning box office achievement. It was just, my gosh. All right, then let's talk about films that were snubbed. People love a snub. Snubby, snub. Anora. Nothing. Maybe Mikey Madison or Mickey Madison will be Harley Quinn because she's got nothing now. I mean, this is looking bad. I think that it's over for her. Maybe there'll be a last-minute save. We'll see what happens at Critics' Choice this coming weekend, a week from today. But this is bad. So I'd be like, hey, Mikey, you better start signing some contracts. Don't hold out anymore. Then, Baby Girl. Oh, I think Nicole Kidman was fine with it. Nicole Kidman, by the way, looked fabulous tonight. Fabulous. Nothing. Not a thing. The real surprise was that, I was all ready to tweet, Nicole Kidman wins. She's going all the way to the Oscars. But she didn't win. It was Fernanda Torres, and Brazil lit up. I thought Brazil only got excited about comic book stuff. But no, they're so excited about this. One of you said that they're going to have a national party in Brazil tomorrow. Although I must say, the fact that Fernanda Torres, only 2 Brazilians have been nominated for Best Actress for the Golden Globes, and the first was her mother, was pretty freaking special. I was like, it brings a tear to my eye. So that was beautiful. And I also think this and the Demi Moore win, which we'll talk about momentarily, blew the whole race open. Thank you, Gareth. Blew the race open for Best Actress. We thought it was going for Nicole. It's anybody's game now. It's pretty exciting, actually. All right, then, A Complete Unknown. Poor Timmy C. He sure got made fun of a lot tonight. But, what does he expect with the mustache that he grew? It's a comedic mustache. He grew it for a comedy. And I spotted that Kardashian next to him, by the way. Oh, I think it was a Jenner. And I was like, how does she feel about that mustache? I like Timmy C. Other people were calling him Timmy too, by the way. But I was like, it looks a little like Take Your Kid to Work Day for for that whichever Jenner that is. Kylie. I don't follow the Kardashians. I'm a Real Housewives Bravo person. But yeah, he got made fun of a lot. He probably went home and shaved that thing right off. I'd be like, you don't have to actually grow the mustache, Timmy. It could be something that comes on and off after the day. So A Complete Unknown, nothing. Nothing for Timmy C, nothing for Edward Norton, nothing. All right. Then let's talk a little bit about the show. Then we'll talk about some of the surprises. All right. Although didn't he actually make a funny SNL sketch about Babyface still doing really well with women? I remember that. And there was another comedian, I forget who it was, in there with him. It was actually hilarious. I love Timothée Chalamet. I kid because I love. Somebody else who kidded was Nikki Glaser. I have to say, I thought she was only okay. She looked great. She looked amazing. I saw The Rock trying to, make friends over there. I thought that she was phenomenal in terms of her presentation. I think, though, that her as a roast comedian, she didn't go far enough. She wasn't like Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais said horrible things, but so cut into your soul that you just couldn't deny them. You were like, I can't get angry because it's true. That's what was just incredible about Ricky Gervais. And I felt that Nikki Glaser was kind of she was fine. She was fine. And also, I don't think she had enough screen time, honestly, to be fair to her. She tried to do this Pope Wicked joke. Somebody should have talked her out of that one. I'd be like, this is your only real chunk of time, Nikki. I wouldn't do it. I'm glad that a lot of you reacted well to her. She certainly didn't kill her career like the guy who hosted last year. But I would just say I didn't think she was impressive. I don't think it's going to help her career. I think she's going to be right where she was. I don't think it's going to hurt it. I don't think it's going to help it. I think she's going to just be right in the middle. And did you spot Nick Bargatze? We were just talking about his spot blowing up. I'm sure he felt like, is this an audition for me to host in the future? Hosting is a difficult gig. I don't think that he really landed either. But yeah, so she was fine. The person who had the most on-air time was the announcer, who would read stuff all the time. Remember? Like he would just be like giving those crazy Wikipedia facts. Like he had more screen time than Nikki Glaser did. All right. Then what the heck was this? I can't believe, and I thought they stopped doing it because it was horrible, but no, they went back to it eventually. And they had this ridiculous thing where instead of showing clips of the work, they would just show where people were sitting in the audience as they announced them. And then, to make it even more bizarre, it took forever for everybody to get to the stage. So you're like, what are we doing, like a play-by-play about which way they're maybe going to go and through the seats? And then later on in the broadcast, this thing broke. And they were showing the wrong people in the wrong spots in the room. So you were like, what is happening, you guys? I mean, I can't believe that they thought this would be interesting to anyone. Maybe it's interesting to like a few people who want some shade, who are like, look how bad that person's seat is. By the way, I noticed that Cooper Koch was sat in the back next to a tree. I felt bad for him, but at least he was in the room. But yeah, this was really, really stupid. So they had this, and so I thought that was ridiculous. Then let's talk about when they finally kicked in with some surprises. And it was like, oh, this show doesn't suck. So I was so happy that Tadanobu Asano won Best Supporting Actor TV. They don't divide it for TV, for either supporting categories. They just do supporting. Not only was I so happy because I felt it was horrible that he lost at the Emmys. I think he lost to someone from The Bear yet again, or whatever. But he was so great. And his speech was adorable. He went up on stage and he was like, for those of you who don't know me, I'm an actor in Japan and I'm just so happy that I won. And I was like, you go, Tadanobu. I mean, he's an incredible actor. He looks adorable, by the way. Like, he looks kind of cool on Shogun, but look how cute and nerdy he looks in real life. I love it. I just want to squeeze him all up. Oh, that's right. He wasn't Thor. He's in Mortal Kombat. You know, like he's been in Hollywood for a long time, but who knew that he was an amazing actor? So that was the first where you were like, that's where you kind of, when we were watching the show tonight, that's where you kind of sat up for a moment. You were like, wait a minute, are they starting to cook? And they did. So we went from this to another great surprise, and that was, holy Golden Globes, Batman. The Penguin won Best Actor over Baby Reindeer. This was a very tough category. And Colin Farrell actually won. He had a hilarious joke where he said he's going to be doing prosthetics forever now. And I'm like, and one of you tweeted till he's 90. And I was like, probably. Now I said, as you can see, here comes season 2, baby. And then someone was like, you said this show didn't do well, Grace. It didn't do well. It did not do well. But who cares? It's great if you can do both. But there are two paths to success in Hollywood. Ratings or viewership or ticket sales, and then awards. This is a big win. This is huge. DC is going to feel great. You know, Marvel doesn't win a lot of stuff, you know, so DC, and someone pointed out that Batman villains sure get a lot of awards. You know, the Joker's gotten a lot of Oscars for those roles. Now the Penguin. I mean, I think it just makes it seem yet again like it's worth signing on at least to play a Batman villain. I still am behind my idea to do miniseries for each of the villains separately, but that doesn't mean maybe Colin Farrell can't show up in a couple of them. I mean, this to me, I don't know how they're going to continue with this, if it's another Penguin series, if it's a different Batman villain getting a limited series afterwards as an anthology. A lot of you are saying Poison Ivy. I would love that. I think that'd be great. I love all the penguin emojis. You guys are making me laugh. But yeah, so that was amazing. So it was like, whoa, what's happening here? Then, this was incredible. Sebastian Stan won Best Actor Comedy or Musical. Now remember, Sebastian Stan was a double nominee tonight for this and The Apprentice. And when he was nominated, when he got his double nominee, and also the best thing that ever happened to Sebastian Stan was when he said that nobody would do a variety actors on actors with him because nobody wanted to talk about Donald Trump. And I think we all were like, that's uncool. And so that's the best thing that ever happened to him, that it happened to him and that he spoke out about it. Because I think everybody was like, you guys are not being fair to Sebastian Stan. And as everyone's saying, the fact that Sebastian Stan is the big breakout serious talent from Marvel is amazing. You're like, wow, he's the only one whose career really worked, you know, coming out of nowhere. But he's doing the work. I really respected his performance in The Apprentice. I didn't see A Different Man, which is what he won for here. But I think he's actually, you know, he might actually be a really good actor. So he's actually has similar vibes to Kieran Culkin, which I think is kind of funny. But yeah. Oh, that's right, Lucas. Of course, Zoe Saldana as well. But this is amazing. And I think him winning was really exciting. This is hopefully going to open up his career. He's been stuck kind of doing, well, he likes doing it, but he does like these crazy small movies. I'd like him to do some crazy bigger movies now, you know? I'd like for him to, you know, be seen as a serious actor like in his own right instead of having to continually feel like he's trying to prove himself. I liked him in the Pam and Tommy miniseries. I think he's a great actor. All right, then next, Flo won Best Animated Feature. I had just said on Movie Math earlier today that Flo had been an early pick to win Best Animated Feature months ago. But then The Wild Robot came out, and everyone thought The Wild Robot was going to take over instead. No. Flo ended up taking it. So I think if I were, like, Inside Out 2 is probably done. But now The Wild Robot's going to have to duke it out for an Oscar. I mean, although I have to say, when I heard this story, you know, a lot about winning these awards is the campaign and the story that you tell when you're campaigning. And I got to tell you, the Flo people had an amazing story. They were like, we're from, what was it, Lithuania or Latvia? And then they're like, we are a small animation studio. We've got like a handful of animators versus the juggernauts that are making these other movies. And, you know, we're just excited to be here. And so you're like, wow, no wonder. I mean, that's a great story. Even I was like, maybe I'll vote for them. Probably not. But I mean, I'm going to do my Critics' Choice vote live later this week. So you'll get to witness it. But yeah, so Flo won. And then here was like something that really excited the audience as much as Colin Farrell winning for The Penguin. And that's Demi Moore winning for The Substance. By the way, if you head over to the social media for her family, one of her daughters posted a video of them and Bruce Willis reacting to her win. And it was adorable. Their family's going through an awful lot right now. And I think it's really, really moving how they've banded together and also been brave enough to share their story so that other people can feel supported who are going through the same thing. And so I think what's happened to the Willis/Moore family is right there. Really an incredible thing. That's right, I gotta watch The Substance now. I'll be watching it this week for sure. Make sure I eat first because I hear it's really disgusting. But the fact that she won is just really amazing. I don't know if she has a shot at an Oscar, you know, after they stop dividing the categories like this. But this is really amazing for her. I thought she did a really nice speech as well. You know, I thought it was interesting. She said, I've been acting in this business for 40 years and I never won an award for acting. And I'm like, I've seen a lot of your work, to me. You didn't deserve to win an award for acting. But you know why she's winning? It's a very similar role to Baby Girl. And that's older actresses putting themselves out there and embracing, on the one hand, the negativity of ageism in Hollywood, particularly for women, but then also being like, they still look freaking amazing, right? Like Demi Moore and Nicole Kidman look amazing. And the fact that they are judged on their age, I think, you know, just shows how crazy ageism is in Hollywood. So I think that's, you know, I think a lot of people who are voters probably identified with what The Substance is about. You know, particularly again, by the way, I don't think Demi Moore is on Ozempic or whatever, but the Golden Globes were actually funded or sponsored by Lilly, which is a medical company that is actually the only weight loss drug approved by the FDA for weight loss, but weight loss drugs actually sponsored the Golden Globes this evening, which I thought was incredible. I didn't get a picture of it, but I was like, they said, brought to you by Lilly, a medicine company. And I was like, oh, I thought of buying stock in that company, by the way. But it's so freaking expensive at this point because it's doing so well with this weight loss drug that I was like, I'm like, what am I going to buy? One share? Forget it. So yes, The Substance, huge deal that she won. Very exciting for Demi Moore. She's going to continue to get more work. All right, then so let's talk about great moments during the show. I agree that them reenacting The Substance, them both being confused why they were both there, they're like, it's my night to not be in the closet or whatever in the bathroom, was great. Great moment, very funny, very well done. So I liked that quite a bit. Margaret Qualley did not win. Then, as I said, Vin Diesel up there by himself with nobody else willing to present with him, calling out Dwayne Johnson, who was like sitting in the front with like no shirt on and a pink blazer and lots of bling and his tattoos out, being like, F you, Vin. It was amazing. And I don't know if Vin Diesel should have done that. I'd be like, I don't think anyone's on your side, Vin. And then, as I said, I did not appreciate his negativity towards Wicked. I was like, Vin Diesel, aren't you always going around making the hearts? You know, oh, by the way, some of you pointed out Anthony Mackie did that for Sebastian Stan, which I thought was adorable. But yeah, so you were like, dude, he was there to present Blockbuster and then he was like, it's all about family and Blockbuster. All right, then they didn't do anything particularly funny, but I thought they looked the most glamorous of the night. Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller. Miles Teller, again, crazy dude in real life, but I love him as an actor. And I have to say, they looked so movie star gorgeous, these two, that I just had to include them in a photo. I was like, Anya Taylor-Joy, this photo doesn't do justice how good she looked. It's hard to take a photo while you're watching the show, but she looked just gorgeous. All right, so then let's talk about some of the more boring aspects of the show. I feel bad. Shogun is a wonderful show, but because the Emmys are so much earlier, and also they have a weird timetable. The Emmys have a timetable that has to do with, the television seasons instead of the calendar year. So it was a little frustrating this evening, them being like, woo, Shogun, baby reindeer, hacks, etc. And you're like, we already talked about these shows, and seeing all these other incredible shows not get recognition. So it's a little frustrating. And I actually think that you saw some of these actors being aware of it in the way they handled it. Although I want to point out, this is, I think, Justin Marks. And the announcer said, here comes Justin Marks to get his Golden Globe. And I was like, isn't that his wife, Rachel Kondo, who's the co-creator of the show? And it was. And I couldn't believe that they did not mention her. It's two people behind that show. All right, so there they go. So Shogun won Best Drama. It also won Best Actor. I mean, you can't get angry about this stuff because they're such incredible performances. But like, for instance, Anna Sawai, she was up and out because she knows it's like too many already. I think she doesn't want to overstay her welcome. And I'm disappointed that she hasn't gotten more out of Shogun. Like, where are her big deals? But yeah, so she won, and she just basically ran up there and said, thank you, and then left. Then Hacks. Again, I love Hacks. Hacks is an incredible show. Best season yet was season 3. But it can't win every single frickin' award. It's so horrible to the other shows, and it's no fun to watch. So Hacks won Best Comedy, and it also won Best Actress, and I felt horrible for Kathryn Hahn. I mean, Jean Smart has won so many awards for playing the same role, and she does a great job, but I don't think she's finding like new layers to it. She just continues to do a great job. And I agree with Vitor that Hannah Einbinder is a crucial part of this show. She plays the other woman on the show. She never gets any recognition. But Jean Smart has gotten her flowers for Hacks. But I think that Kathryn Hahn for Agatha created a sensation and held a whole show on her shoulders. And it was a difficult role. It was a very important role. I was really disappointed that she didn't win. Then Baby Reindeer. Again, I'm very happy for Baby Reindeer. I know a lot of people love it, and it means a lot to a lot of people. But again, I'm like, we've already talked about Baby Reindeer, and it also won Best Supporting Actress. But as many people pointed out, when the heck is Only Murders in the Building going to win something? Like, it's just never going to win something, apparently. How long are Martin Short and Steve Martin and Selena Gomez going to be snubbed? I mean, they're doing an incredible job on this show, and they have really created something very unique and special. And it's just nuts. I mean, I think Martin Short, I agree with you, Jamie. I think Martin Short in particular was robbed. I think he had a great recent season. I think he's been particularly stepping out of his comfort zone on the show. So it's crazy that they don't get any recognition. This show gets nothing. It's like it reminds us all, we still are all traumatized by Better Call Saul, which ran for so many seasons and never got a single frickin' Emmy. Or anything, I think, really. I mean, it's just really horrible. We're just nervous about it. All right, so yeah, that's the Golden Globes there. All right, so that's my thoughts on it. So it's live. We got to do a Q&A. So we'll do a Q&A for 10 minutes until 12:10. Sebastian, I don't know if I'm going to do a substance watch along. I'll have to see about it. Nacho Flores says that the Hollywood Reporter just upgraded Demi Moore to Oscar frontrunner. That would be incredible. She's not even a great actress. I'm sorry. She's not a great actress. I mean, I'll watch The Substance and maybe I'll be like, where'd that come from? But she's not a great actress. I mean, this is the woman who was in G.I. Jane and some other thing, you know? I mean, like, she was all kind of known for not being a great actress. So that just shows you that you never know what can happen. And it's all also a lot about like the story, the narrative that you weave when you campaign. Danny says, Grace, does Dune 2 have any Oscar chances? Mostly I think in the craft categories. That's right, Evan. I do have a TV stand now. But, James Bond's TV was on the floor in one of the Daniel Craig movies. So I feel okay. I feel better about it. Danny says, did you like the show? I thought it was okay. I thought from an entertainment perspective, it was pretty weak. To me, the best, Kenan Thompson, when he hosted the Emmys a couple of years ago, that was by far and away still, to this day, the most entertaining awards show I've seen in a while. Also, the recent Oscars where they had no host. I thought that was also a lot of fun. Lloyd says, Grace, is this the Oscar path ahead? I think it's not totally locked in because this was so nuts. I think Zoe Saldana and Kieran Culkin are probably locked in, but I think we have to see how Critics' Choice goes. And then I think once we start seeing the craft awards come in, the Guild Awards, SAG, DGA, WGA, BAFTA, then you'll start to maybe see some momentum. But, I think this actually, instead of totally locking down the race, it created a little bit of like an opening for people. Here. Lola Monroy, that's a great name, says favorite speech. That's a good one. I guess Tadanato Asabo, because it was just so charming. I really liked his speech a lot. And I liked Brady Corbet when he talked about his daughter. I thought that was a nice moment. Oh, Jordan didn't like The Substance. Well, let's see. Wiki Nomad, I reviewed The Last Showgirl. I did a mini review a month or so ago. That's right, Dylan. They made fun of the Joker, which deserves to be made fun of for all time. Stephen Carrier says, don't you insult G.I. Jane. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, thank you, Say. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm falling behind here a little bit. Jesus wants to know where I got this great outfit. I got this from Bloomingdale's. This is a Bloomingdale's purchase. I was going up the escalator and I saw it on a mannequin and I said, I want that. And I actually had to order it because they did not have it in the store. Not the size that I wanted. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm falling there behind. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Danny says, hi, Grace. Do you think the Golden Globes are still relevant? Anything that trends number one is still relevant. All About Steve says, do you think Sebastian Stan will get an Oscar nom? I think his chances have greatly improved. And I hope that he does. Let's see here. John Thrasher says, does Cynthia still have a chance at the Oscars? Probably not. I think Wicked is in a bad shape. I think Wicked should just hope to win costume design and production design at this point. Eric says, how about Ariana for Critics' Choice? I mean, I plan to vote for her, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Let's see here. Review 5 says, do you think the results will be different for the Oscars because international voters have less voting power? But at the same time, people are influenced by these awards shows because people start to get momentum and nobody wants to waste their vote. So it starts to be, Demi Moore and Fernanda Torres won, so I should maybe pick one of those two. Or somebody like maybe Nicole Kidman who had was a bit of a front runner. But that's how it usually works. So I think that these do have an effect. Steven says, Emma winning for Poor Things hurts Nicole. You think? I don't know. I'm not sure why. I think that Baby Girl just hasn't been very well received. So I think, as I said on Movie Math, not this weekend, but the weekend before, I think that has hurt Nicole's chances. Guto Ruiz says, Grace, Brazilians are beyond happy with Fernanda's victory. Do you see any chance for her at the Oscars? I think for sure. Anyone who wins tonight just got a big push for the Oscars. Adam DiSabato says, Demi Moore is the heart of the substance. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Mark Curry says, do you think The Brutalist could win Best Picture? I think there's a very, very strong chance that it will. It's a phenomenal film, and I highly recommend that you go see it. I would be very happy with a Brutalist win. Let's see here. Wes Peters says, Wicked is done. Bye-bye. I think, unfortunately, that's probably true. Let's see here. Yeah, Juan, some of the speeches were very long. And then also, it took so long for so many people to get to the stage, it ate up a lot of time. I got to tell you, while I was watching it, I was like, they accept their awards from their seats. I mean, I know they tried to do that once with the Oscars and everybody got upset, but I was like, this is taking forever. Let's see here. Michael Rivera says, there's a couple of scenes in The Substance that I'm sure will resonate with you, Grace. Yes, I will definitely share my thoughts once I watch it, for sure. Let's see here. Carter James says, do you think this Golden Globes could be an outlier when it comes to Oscar predictions since it's such an odd situation with things from last year being nominated? No, this is not an odd situation. This is the way it always works. And also, you're only talking about streaming shows. So I don't think it's business as usual in terms of the way the Golden Globes are operating. Billy Malloy says, I think Wicked 2 will get the awards love next year. I don't know. I don't think so. I got to tell you, I'm sorry to say, I think it's another Barbie. Tanya says, did you notice John Chu's optimistic speech with Richard Gadd's right afterwards? They were opposite ends of the spectrum, which was a bit awkward. Oh, that's an interesting juxtaposition. I didn't notice that difference. I do agree that John Chu was like, this is my only chance at the microphone. Probably this is entire awards season. And I appreciated seeing Brian Roberts, the head of Comcast Universal, in the audience. I was like, we never get to see Brian Roberts. And he was like, hello. We were like, bye, Warner Brothers, please save it. That's what we should whisper to him when we drop off his food. If you were working the show. I don't think it's awkward now that I think about it. I think that it's important to recognize the roller coaster that is life, highs and lows. And I think that they both should be cherished. I think happiness is not a bad word and can resonate with people just as much as sadness can. And, it's interesting you say that. Maybe that's one of the reasons that Barbie and Wicked don't get respect, because they seem happy and successful and popular, and nobody thinks that, that's not what people feel deserves this. It already has the spotlight. And I think that really is unfair to what those films represent and how their intellectual aspects. Paul says, why specifically do you think Barbie and now Wicked have had a hard time? Oh, I just answered that. All right. Clearly Entertainment says, what did Vin Diesel do? Well, word is that Vin Diesel just fights with everybody. But, he's just difficult is the word on the street. Dorothy Morothy. Is that Dorothy from Golden Girls? Is your picture? I love it. Says Dennis Quaid should have been nominating for eating shrimp. I did see some clips of that. That was quite memorable and made an impression on me, even without having seen the movie and The Substance. Thank you, Say, for gifting a membership. Let's see here. John Camara thinks that Demi's speech sealed her SAG and Oscar win. That would be an incredible thing to see. Peter Cunningham, I think The Brutalist will definitely start to expand for sure. Thank you, Gramos. That's very generous of you. Yeah, Mike Martinez. Conclave, I feel so bad for Conclave. It's an incredible movie. Not getting anything but screenplay. Not getting no respect. That's all it won tonight. Kaylin says, Demi's win and potential Oscar nom is huge for horror as well. The genre never gets its flowers. Great point. Great, great, great point. That would be wonderful. That makes me like the win even more. Let's see here. Garrett Thorne says, seems like The Brutalist versus Emilia Perez for Best Picture. definitely hoping for The Brutalist. I don't know about Emilia Perez just yet. You know, I don't like. For instance, I don't think Critics' Choice gave it as many nominations as Hollywood Foreign Press Association did. I still am not total. I don't think Emilia Perez is that solid. I think The Brutalist is probably not the front runner. The Red Trainer says, what would be Trump's reaction if Sebastian Stan gets the nom for The Apprentice? It's a tough movie. You know, you mentioned the Ivanka scene. It's a really brutal film. But I have to tell you, I think that it's a remarkably fair film. And I think Trump should just back off of it, you know? And I'm sure there would be a part of him that would be flattered. That, you know, to get to, but I don't, you know, we'll see. I mean, he didn't comment on Sebastian Stan's nomination already for Golden Globe. Stevens bringing up Adrien Brody's past with Halle Berry when he won for The Pianist. Yeah, that wasn't great. Let's see here. Let's see. Billy Malloy says Cynthia might win the Oscar next year for Original New Song. That's probably something that I think the Academy would feel, unfortunately, more comfortable giving to her. It's crazy, you know? It's very unfair. I feel very bad for Barbie and Wicked. Michael says, I agree with you about Demi Moore. I just rewatched Ghost recently, and though I love the movie, she isn't particularly strong in it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Wanda's attorney. Hey, Wanda says, do you think that Sebastian Stan's win this award season will boost the Thunderbolts? No. I think it'll boost his career outside of it. Lucas, I will try to watch I'm Still Here from Brazil as well, for sure now, since it's doing so well. Danielle says Anna Sawai would make an excellent Psylocke. Well, I don't know if she has to be in a Marvel or a comic book movie, but I'd like her to get something. The House of Overthinking says, always love your takes. If you could add one awards category to the Golden Globes, what would it be? What an interesting question. Maybe it's like best something new, like best new director or something, or I don't know. It's tough. They have everything covered. I mean, they're giving out awards for stand-up and box office. And then Ezra says, what were your favorite and least favorite small moments? I don't know. I mean, I guess I like as I said, the Tadanobu Asano speech. And then I thought Vin Diesel making a face when Wicked won best box office was pretty uncool. All right, I'm over time. I got to get going here. It's very late, especially here on the East Coast. I had a wonderful time with you. I think this was a lot of fun doing a stream right afterwards. Thank you for joining me for this. It was so fun. And I think we'll continue to do it with like the big awards shows and stuff. So mark your calendar to spend it with me. I had a great time. All right, everybody, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.